I would like to congratulate, however, the Government for its decision to back the Isle of Wight's levelling up bid last week and for moving up into tranche 1 and accepting my arguments. I am most grateful. And I actually want to say, because we are spending an awful lot of money, that money is going to be exceptionally well spent. £6 million, it's going to buy quite a few things, but the most important, it will buy the capability to be able to lift 240-tonne ships out of the water at East Cowes. And it will be a massive boost for jobs and for White shipyards and aluminium boats. And just while we're talking about shipbuilding, there is likely to be a Border Patrol vessels significant contract, I hope. The Isle of Wight may well be putting in the only UK bid, and it will be a highly competitive one. Those boats have been made in Holland before. It would be nice to see them made in the UK, and preferably on the island, bringing that wealth to the Isle of Wight and also along the south coast. I also want to congratulate the Government, Mr Deputy Speaker, on the universal credit decision. Out of all the excellent things, and my honourable friend from Middlesbrough South and East Cleveland knows this as well as I do, out of all of the things, excellent things in the budget, that for our constituents to make work worthwhile and to get work into families and get families out and prosperity and hope, that may well be the most important thing that's come out of this budget, and it may be influential for years to come. Very briefly, I also want to put on record my thanks to Maggie Oldham at the Isle of Wight NHS Trust, who has taken the NHS Trust on the island out of special measures, and it is now rated good, and also for the recent visit by the Education Ministry's Permanent Secretary to Cowes Enterprise College to see an example of best practice of embedding careers into the curriculum and getting people ready for work clearly is an important part of education. Mr Deputy Speaker, I'm delighted that the Transport Minister is here because I want to talk briefly about transport, just to have a little bit of a moan within a positive framework, if I can, because he and I have met quite often and talked about the Isle of Wight ferries and Isle of Wight transport. And I wrote to him last week, and I hope we're going to look at a series of issues, and I just want to put them on public record now. First, the ferries, I'm sorry, they fall down too often. If this was a multi-constituency problem, Mr Deputy Speaker, the situation with Whitelink, Redfall and Hover Travel would not be accepted. Yet, unfortunately, it's accepted for whatever reason. And we need to challenge that because we need to do better. Because interconnectivity is important. The ministers know that, Mr Deputy Speaker, and we need to improve our connectivity between the mainland and the island. So firstly, and again to follow up the letter that I wrote, can government oversee ferry timetables and take the power to do so in the same way that the rail minister does with rail timetables? Firstly. Secondly, especially because we've got a Treasury Minister here, will it support a national infrastructure bid, potentially by a new ferry operator, a free market alternative, to get a new player into the market, especially if it's a community interest company that will keep low debt levels and a more affordable price structure for islanders? Thirdly, will the government look at other measures and take other controls potentially over ferry firms, such as looking at their debt levels? I don't want to sound particularly like the honourable member for Hayes and Harlington or Norwich South, but the privatisation for Whitelink did not work, and that company has been loaded up with debt by corporate sharks over the years. That debt gets paid for every time an islander uses that ferry service, and is frankly unfair. I also would question whether it is right for public services, be it Whitelink or be it Southern Water, to be owned ultimately by by companies based in offshore tax havens. It is not right, and it is not good for us that this practice continues. Fourthly, can we look at extending EU UK 261 regulations that cover air travel to cover the ferry firms? Fifthly, public service obligations, either supported or unsupported by the taxpayer, can these be added? And finally, would the government potentially support the Isle of Wight Council or the Department for Transport taking a share in Whitelink or potentially Red Funnel? Lastly, would the government also look at a cap on costs for those people travelling to the mainland for health-related travel? Because unlike the Isles of Scilly, we do not have the same beneficial arrangement, and those costs are sometimes higher than they are for other people. So I'm going to leave it there with one final point, just looking at the Minister, if I may, via the Speaker's chair. The fair funding formula, negotiations continue to be ongoing. the government, the Chancellor, accepted for the first time, again after my pressing, that the Isle of Wight should be treated as an island and that there are additional costs in providing government services in doing business caused by separation from sea. And those negotiations are at an advanced stage, and I would be very grateful because the government invested £50,000 in looking at this with the Isle of Wight's own council, that it comes to a positive resolution. The amounts of money we're talking about are so small when it comes to overall budgets, but they will mean a great deal to the island, and to actually be recognised that the Isle of Wight's additional costs caused by being an island are at last recognised for the first time in decades by government. Thank you.